is a local name. You might have heard him on the radio. You might have seen him in Locked Up. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Mike Drosieko.
I should have probably not done that shot of Zake. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Mike.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
I want to thank staff for inviting me here tonight. This is a pretty cool thing. You know, a couple of island boys coming up here doing their thing. You have to have a kind of sense of humor, you know, if you're growing up on the island. Here all the time. By the way, I mean that. Do you guys mind if I cuss a little? Since half the crowd is pretty much most island, and you only know the word fuck, shit, ass. So we're good. We're speaking the same vocabulary. Alright. But no, growing up on the island, it's a lot of fun. I mean, you experience things on the island that you wouldn't experience anywhere else. Right? Yeah. Preach on, brother. One of the things, and I want to kind of share this experience with you, when we had the flood in the 90s, what year was that, 94? You were there? You were at my house in the 90s? You were at 93. We got 6 feet in the basement, right? And so I'm in the kitchen, I'm making a sandwich, you know, and these are one of these moments where you have, you know, it's just unique to Wheeling Island, you know. So I'm in the kitchen, I'm making a sandwich, the rest of the family is throughout the house. We stayed, you know, like a lot of island people when the flood happens, we stayed. And so I'm in the kitchen making a sandwich and I hear all this shit downstairs in the basement, right? We got 6 feet in our basement. You're splashing around, growling. I immediately think, oh my God, one of the dogs got down in the fucking basement, right? So I take my sandwich, I pull it down the steps, open the door, turn on the fucking light, and there, laying at the bottom of the steps, I had that moment. There was a fucking cat. You've seen the island cats, right? We all know that we had the cat problem on the island. There was a cat on the steps getting fucked by a rat. Now, as sexy as that sounds, it's not that cool. It really isn't. What do you do? You know, I think I was like 14, 15 years old. What do you do? You know, I tried to shoot the thing off the steps. They weren't having any of it. I mean, this fucking rat was just pounding this cat. Just wanted that. He was banging the 9 lives right out of it. So instead of kicking its ass off the steps, I did what any teen would do. I sat down, ate my sandwich, and jerked off. You know, those are one of those experiences that can only happen on Wheeling Island. True story. I can't believe that shit. But the funny thing is, and that isn't even the whole story, a couple years later, I'm fishing down at the marina, right? And we all know about our river rat problem. And those fuckers are huge. I'm down there fishing, and a river rat's coming up. And so I start backing away immediately because it's definitely packing more heat than I am. And out of nowhere, this fucking beast jumps on top of this river rat, just mauls the shit out of it. I fled back to my car, and it wasn't until I got back to my car that I realized, holy shit, that is the spawn of that cat rat fuckfest on my Had I been successful at fucking shooing that fucking off the steps, I would have stopped this huge problem. And people don't realize it. If you're not from the island, you don't realize it. But we have this problem now. It's not only cats and it's not only rats. We now have crats. Half rat, half cat, full badass. So just be careful. But Wheeling Island is awesome. You know, I would not have rather grown up anywhere else. I honestly grew up. That's a Blessed Trinity education. Woo! And I see some island people. I think I'm at the Blessed Trinity Street Fair tonight. I'm gonna get my ass kicked in an alley somewhere, so nice going. But no, Wheeling Island adds a lot to what Wheeling is. Wheeling Island is awesome, and Wheeling as a whole gets a lot of shit, and just like every other city or county around here. Wheeling Island's always looked at as arrogant, stuck up, like the rich bastards. Not the island people. I'm not talking about the island people. But really, and it goes back to Wheeling doesn't care. They don't give a shit. They hear that they're arrogant. They hear that they're stuck up. What do? We get a fucking magazine, In Wheeling Magazine. Fuck yeah. You know what I mean? What other city around here is going to have a magazine about them? You're never going to see an In Shadyside magazine. Hey, we look at the fucking Ku Klux Klan fucking recruiting guy. You're never going to have an In Bel Air magazine. You're just fucking full of blank pages. But that's how Wheeling is. That's how Wheeling looks at itself. They don't give a shit. Look at the tunnels. I know the tunnels aren't exactly Wheeling's doing, but they're in Wheeling. How many other tunnels that have tile and lights? When I think of my tunnel, I think of a dark, damp place that's filled with fucking bats. I don't give a shit. I'm in it for 5 minutes. I don't need lights and tile. It was my kitchen or bathroom, yes, but it's just a thing. But that's how people look at Wheeling. Look at how look what Wheeling did with the island. A lot of people out there, you might hear them saying, they're talking about this organization, or they don't like these people or that people. They'll say, you know what? Take these people, take those fuckers, put them together and throw them on an island somewhere. What's awesome, Wheeling did that. Wheeling took their shit, but they threw them on the island. It's the island of misfits. But I love Wheeling. I would rather live nowhere else. It's for everyone. I mean, it's great. But for me, technology and the way Wheeling is, and everything keeps evolving and growing up and stuff. I keep looking at it, and when I was writing my material for tonight, I kept getting calls on my cell phone, and I have the computer sitting there, and there's Facebook and MySpace and all this shit up. And it wasn't like that when I was at Blessed Trinity. I spent half my fucking day making paper airplanes and the rest making cookies. I didn't learn English until I went to Corpus Christi. But technology is huge. I remember when I was a kid, if I wanted to get in some trouble, I would go out and I'd dress all in black. I got an egg in the middle of the night, or I'd go out and steal those chromies off the car tires. You know what I mean? Right? You hold on to them like they're fucking gold. You put them in a jar like they're a fish. And you go and you take an M80 and throw it in a garbage can and just pull the shit out of it. Those are the fun things that you do when you're a kid. Now, there's an app for all that shit. I mean, I remember growing up, if I ever, kind of wanted to seduce myself and pleasure myself in my house somewhere, I would go and find my mother's Sears catalog, find a cozy little dark nook somewhere in the house, turn to the lingerie section and go to town. Nowadays, I could just go sit down at the computer, hop on the internet, and go to Sears.com. But technology is kind of cool. I have to admit. And I look at things like Facebook and MySpace and Twitter, and it's kind of a neat. I couldn't imagine having that kind of shit back when I was a kid. Cell phones. Oh my God, the sexting, all this sex talk. I mean, back in the day, if you wanted to have phone sex, that was cool. Now it's sex chat, and all this other stuff. And I can't even type that well. You know how hard it is to text with one hand? I mean, I know most of them do. It's tough. You need somebody else to help you clean up. And God forbid your battery dead, you're fucked. You're in trouble.